sevenfold.
We return to Fallout Fort Smith with a view of our characters' faces cast in an ugly green hue. Ash, Lieutenant Dan, and Adelaide in the front, with Spragg and Cap just behind. The features of each is set in a grim resolution. As we zoom out, we see they're right where we left them last time, on the overpass with weapons ready to face their foe. As we continue to pull away, a glossiness comes over the picture. A huge eyelid blinks down, and we find that our view of these wastelanders had been from the reflection in the eye of the Hound. Now we pan up and see the full scene of the face-off. Giant Mute Hound versus these battle-hardened wanderers. And roll initiative.
Okay, so it'd be...
Okay.
Oh man, I just
nice
saw. I just saw. You saw that? You know that whole introduction? I'm gonna have to put it in post because I just saw that I did not hit the record buttons, but now I have. I've hit the record button. All right.
Never fails with this man's.
But it's recording now. So initiatives.
Good.
You're gonna do a d20 plus the dice from your agility. And depending on other things you have, you might have some amount of advantage.
What I see on the side of my sheet right now is D20 plus D10 advantage 5. And everything I'm going after has the swift. So that's plus 2?
Well, the plus 2's already calculated in. If something wasn't swift, you would subtract 2. So you've got advantage 5 on this. And you said D10?
Yes.
So you will roll a D20 and 6 D10 and take the best of those 6.
Okay, a D20 and the best of 6 D10.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I need the Open Legend website up, just in case.
Okay, that would give me a 25 plus 5 for the... unless that's what the advantage does. You don't add advantage, it's how many dice you roll.
Right, you
Correct.
take the best of those dice.
So what are your 2 dice rolls? What's the D20 and what's the best D10?
17 and 8.
Okay. Just double checking that neither had rolled a max number, because I know you're not used to the system and wanted to remind you that explodes. But no, 25. Rock solid.
Explosion!
Yes!
Welcome to Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Early Shadowrun.
So, if someone wants a link to the Kingmaker, I'll put it in. I'm going to put this in the here, because both of my 8s exploded. So that's fun.
Okie dokie.
I have more to add. If I have 2d8 advantage 3, that means I need to roll 6d8 and take the higher.
Wait, you have advantage 3, you have 2, so you roll 5.
Oh, that makes more sense. So
because you add 3?
Yeah, got you. It's not like roll 2d8 3 times.
Right. Oh, I see what you mean. That's why, yeah. Like, advantage 5 on one die gave 6 total rolls.
I see. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then you take the best 2 of those.
The best 2 were 2 8s that exploded. Do I take the things that immediately exploded after them?
So you will take those 2 8 and all of their explosions.
Okay, got it. So 8, then 2, then 5. So I have a 39. Yeah.
Did you add in your D20 roll?
Yeah, D20 was a 16.
Okay, so I hear a 39. And what was yours, Jason?
Fast as the wind.
You got a 25.
25.
A 17 and an 8.
A 7.
I got... No. I was specifically saying the numbers. You don't need those.
Oh,
Habit of...
So what you got?
I personally got a 22, so there's a good chance I'm next.
2, okay. And then, Kane, what you got? You're muted. That's what you got.
Son of a bitch.
I see how you feel
Snake
about
eyes.
me.
I got snake eyes, you son of a bitch.
You were just a bit We'll see where the distraction is. How about that?
Yeah.
So, now, you don't... Do you fumble initiative?
I mean, based on rolling a 2, like, it's nearly impossible to roll lower, but no.
Okay.
It's literally impossible to roll lower than 2-1.
No, you could
didn't
have
a
0
die,
in agility.
which I do not.
You have an agility,
Yeah.
but someone else could not have an agility and roll lower than you.
But only
Yeah,
by
that
one.
would be terrible.
You see, that's how you save yourself. You're not terrible. Just really bad.
Just basically off.
All right. So that means our current initiative order will be Mr. Explosion. We'll go first. Tommy.
Maybe that's a better name for my character than Ash. Just Mr. Explosion!
That's my job.
I was gonna say we already have him.
Yeah. That's true. We can't call you Mr. Explosion.
Stepping right on Levi's toes here.
All right. And then next is Jason. After that
Yep.
will be Levi. After that, it looks like the Hound. And then after that, it will be King. And Adelaide.
Well, there's no one after me. Are you sure?
Do you want there to be?
Is there aren't any mute hounds that have no agility and roll the 1?
There could be. I can make that happen. No, okay. Let's go. So, that means we start off, everybody's still there. Everybody is kind of in this tension thing. We had, I believe characters tried to intimidate the Hound away. It was pretty funny in my head because this Hound is like as tall as the shoulder of a super mutant. So, I mean,
Oh, that's a big dog.
that's a big dog, and these little things that could bite were trying to intimidate it. But maybe I thought it might have been like a Chihuahua versus a Great Great Dane, but no, that intimidation did not work. So we are starting off. Ash is first.
Alright, so talking it down didn't work. I'm just gonna, snap my pistol up and shoot the thing.
Okay.
I'm not really sure how to do that mechanically!
Okay.
Drawing your weapon should be a minor, correct?
Yep. So just the weapon, it's here now, and it affects. Basically, you couldn't draw another weapon, but that doesn't take any quote-unquote time in your turn.
Okay. I will do shooty.
Do you want to also move, or just take one shot?
Where am I in relation to it?
You are. Everybody's kind of lined up pretty much in a line. The robot has been following behind, or as he prefers to be called, Cap has been following behind. And so this is how I imagined it. You may correct me if I'm wrong on your marching order, but Ash, Lieutenant Dan, and Adelaide were kind of 3 people up front, kind of talking and leading the way and going around and stuff. And especially since Lieutenant Dan and Adelaide are from here.
Yeah.
And then Spragg was kind of behind them, and then the robot Cap has been following, rolling his little wheelie self down, taking up the rear. So
Okay,
you
fair
got
enough.
you
so
are
I guess
Yeah.
if there is something I can step behind, put between me and the thing, I will do so, and then take a shot at him.
Okay. There does not appear to be any cover on the freeway. Because you guys were on top.
Okay.
He came and jumped up on top of the freeway. Because he smelled you guys. You assume.
Okay. Well, then I guess we're just pulling the trigger then.
Alright.
So you can take a focus action and get an additional advantage 1 on the shot.
Deal.
If you do nothing else.
And that's what we're doing. And I roll agility to do that.
And you probably have some advantage based on your feats.
So, attack specialization 2 gives me advantage 2. The focus gives me advantage 1. Right.
So you will add 3 dice to your agility pool.
So 2. So I roll 5d8. To keep the best 2.
Yeah.
No explosions there, but a pair of 7s. So, do I add a d20 to that as well?
Yes.
Okay, so that.
What are you?
And
you're
that is
shooting,
also a 7.
This is versus guard, correct? You're shooting at its.
You're just shooting it normally. You're not trying anything else weird, right?
No, just I want to make it dead now.
Okay. All right then. So.
And I have a 21, I think.
So the total is your 21.
Yeah.
All right. So you whip up your pistol, I believe you said you had, and you even have time with your superior speed, we'll say with your advantage, to spin it once as it comes up and go and start to rattle off some shots. And as you do, you see them go and graze it. You definitely see that it grazed it, but it did not penetrate its tough hide.
Oh, good. Okay, that's my turn.
Okay. Next up, we have Lieutenant Dan.
That should be me.
Yeah.
Slightly slower on the draw, but not by much. Pull out my good old Colt 45 race pistol and start popping off rounds. I have the fast draw feat and lightning reflexes 3. I don't know if either of those affect this.
Lightning reflexes we've already done. That made your roll as good as it was. Fast draw, if you want to draw more than one weapon, you're good. For example, if you wanted to draw a gun and have a kukri on the side, or something of the sort.
Yeah, I'll get my tomahawk out left-handed.
Okie dokie.
And then I will shoot our beastie. So it's going to be d20 plus my agility dice.
That sounds right.
Okay, so that'd be a 20 plus a 10. Sorry. 10. Sorry. 17.
17 versus its guard.
I do believe. Yes. I do believe, unless I have an advantage I don't know of. So probably.
Do you have like
not.
a weapon focus feat?
No, I do not.
Then you're good.
Yeah.
All right.
That's. Well, that worked well.
Well, it's a thing.
At least it was quiet.
Yeah.
Because of the silencer.
There you go. Positive side, you go. Whips it out and goes. Pew, pew. Not like like Tommy's gun, but pew, pew. And so you are able to get it to. You draw your weapon again, like you said, not quite as quickly as Tommy did, as Ash did, but you draw your weapon up, and Lieutenant Dan sights it and plinks. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to pierce the hide, though you see that these things are I mean, they're scuffing its skin, but you haven't done any real damage. You guys can tell you haven't done any real damage. So, unfortunately, that's what's happening at the moment. Now, next is Adelaide. Unless you want to move or something like that, Lieutenant Dan.
I will try to move a little further, kind of try to split the pie, so to speak. That way we have different people at different angles so it can't, jump into the middle of a group of us and get everyone at the same time.
Okie dokie.
Flanking, I guess, is the better idea.
Flanking is how to say that in non-military terms.
Well, I mean, he's in a militia, so I mean, we can use military terms. The beast is close enough to move around him. Your movement speed is 30, right?
Correct.
It's not unmodified? Okay. So, you can definitely move around to the side, to the back if you make a quick rush for it. And, it may swing at you, but you don't know if it's gonna go after you or not. You're unfamiliar with this particular beast, so you couldn't really tell from your experience.
Now, mechanics question, if I'm behind it, will it give other people advantage against it?
I believe flanking can offer advantage 1, correct?
Melee flanking, yeah. If the other person goes up for melee.
Okay.
I thought. Let me double check. I could be wrong. It's been a bit.
Okay. Levi's gonna look that up. We're going to...
I'll go ahead and move.
In for melee flanking or just within range?
Just within range for now.
Okay. So what we do then, to change the narrative a bit, as you see him draw, as Ash draws his weapon and starts to shoot, you also shoot to cover yourself as you move. And that's why you kind of just plink off the tough hide and roll down, and you've got yourself taking a knee and you're ready to aim for your next shot next time.
Okay.
So, that is Lieutenant Dan's turn. Adelaide, what's happening?
I thought the dog went before me.
Oh, that's right. You did roll 2. Okay, it's Levi next.
Okay,
actually.
yeah.
I knew someone went next.
Yeah, I thought it was me because I had the 22.
Yep, it is
so, you. To clarify, the lieutenant is not in melee range of the dog, correct?
That is what I am understanding.
Correct.
Okay. So, Sprague pulls open his protective coat, just various explosives, and like you think there's an open vial of nitroglycerin. There's Christmas lights and like garden gnomes, and there's a little bit of everything.
Are they like the regular Christmas lights, or are they like we thought about before with the pumpkin Christmas string lights?
There's some pumpkin ones. There's some ones that instead of any like nice decorative, it's just a cherry bomb at the end. It depends on what he had on hand and was like willing to take the time to make.
Gotcha.
Scrag opens up his trench coat and pulls out the rocket launcher.
Okay. So, actually I don't... So for each of these 4 attacks, I'm going to be targeting a 10-foot cube that includes its whole body.
Okay.
Or is it bigger than quote-unquote large class creature?
Yeah, it technically would fall into the large category, yes. But just barely.
Okay. It doesn't actually change anything mechanically, it just felt weird for Sprague to only target one 5-foot square.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives me more disadvantage, but I'm already rolling with disadvantage 9. So, like, what's the difference?
Okie dokie.
I'm making 4 attacks right now.
Fair enough, I guess.
Alright, so I don't have enough of these dice on me. So, okay, it's probably one of those. So far, this roll is going better than I was expecting. So, you know.
We keep
Hey,
hearing this.
they're 2s and not... Oh, there's a 1. Alright, so now let's see what the d20 gives me. So that's a 16.
Okay.
Let's see. Hey, this roll's going better on the d8 side so far. But it could always mess up because I have another 4d8 that could screw me over.
God damn it.
I don't have enough d8 on me, okay?
You need a roller. This is ridiculous.
Hey,
So there's 9.
this is on you, Levi. You knew you were building this character.
Hey,
You knew this.
I'm having fun. It's
And
just...
who said this rules light system wasn't crunchy and time consuming in combat?
Okay, but that's because I picked one of the worst things to not be rules light. Because I am playing at the fringes of the system mechanically. Alright, this is almost certainly going to do next to nothing anyway, because I rolled a 3 in the d20. The last one was a 9, in case you didn't hear.
Okay.
And this one's a 6. And I think this next one should be my last attack. Let's roll the d20 first to see if this roll matters. Maybe. Okay. Nope. A 17.
17. Okay. So I heard the highest one
The Jeopardy
was
song.
a 17, I think you said?
20, I think.
20? I thought I heard a 19 in there somewhere that was a plus that had a +1 on it. So.
Levi, confirmed, denied?
Yeah. I was just going through and trying to get the numbers out there as fast as possible, and I've forgotten what they are.
I think the highest one I heard was a 19 plus 1, which is a 20. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I heard 16, 26, and then whatever the last one was.
17. So, that means, what are you targeting? What do your bombs target?
I wanted to coat its entire body in explosions.
Okay.
A vague direction towards the mute hound.
That'd probably be
Like-
toughness rather than guard then.
That's actually pretty fair.
So, it still doesn't
If you put
damage
a
it.
shrapnel somehow.
You and that goes on, and you guys see that this thing is just this massive puff of smoke just comes out everywhere as Sprague just tosses these out of his jacket, and for a moment there's a pause and the smoke clears and the mute hound is still there, sitting, and it cocks its head looking at all of you. Just, you can tell there's an intelligence behind it. Not smart, mind you, but intelligence. And it's just looking at you guys. It's even got its mouth closed now. It's looking at you guys like... So now, it's its turn.
I think the dog is calling us out.
It's too big! He's too big, too strong!
So it looks at you guys, and you see it kind of... It almost like sits on its back haunches like a bulldog would. And then it raises its head and goes... And for a second there's no sound. And you hear an answering... and barks. yaps.
The hell is going on?
And
Ash is just gonna smile.
the pattering of clawed feet, bulky clawed feet coming from underneath, coming your way from underneath the overpass. And now, that's going to be its turn for now. So, Cap starts to rev himself up. You hear the chainsaw on his one arm start, and he says, "And I thought I had saw everything. Ha 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 ha!" And as he starts to pull forward, some of the interstate gives way, and he has to clamp on and use his other hand with it that he's trying to hold with. It's also got a weapon on it, and now he's like hanging off the overpass. And Adelaide just thinks to himself, "Well, that's karma for the bad pun."
You got what you deserve, you stupid gamer.
So at the moment, Le Robot is hanging for dear circuit life on, well, he probably wouldn't die, but for at least to prevent himself from getting several dents on the way down off the overpass, as some of it gave way. So that's currently his location. And Ash, it's back up to you.
Alright, here we go. We're gonna do that same thing again. Here's 5 exploding D8s, and 2 of them have done an explode, so this one looks a little better.
I would hope so. Those that'll add up together.
They do, so then that's 16, 25, 33.
33, yeah. That definitely breaks its guard. You were shooting for a 24.
Good God, how are you guys getting such high advantage on this?
So I have 5d8 that I roll from, and this is where Levi is going to tell me I'm doing this wrong, but if I have it correctly, my agility gives me 2d8, then attack specialization 2 pistols should give me 2 more, and then taking the focus should make it 5. Right?
Correct.
Nice! And what is how to damage?
What was your total roll?
Total roll was a 30. I gotta redo the math. 25, 6, 39, 31, 2, 3, 34.
So 34 minus the guard.
Which is 24.
So you did 10.
Which is respectable.
This is a good hit.
Alright. So, do you want to flavor this one or me?
I'll take it. Ashes, he has that gun from New Vegas and also Blade Runner. And just like starts howling, keeps shooting, keeps smiling, just probably in his head, oh, this is bad. Okay. Bang, 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 bang. And the bang, bang, bangs are happening over the course of several turns.
Well, they can all happen in one turn because time is wibbly wobbly.
Okay, fair enough. Then we're just shooting it as many times in as many vulnerable parts as we can.
Okie dokie.
As we look up exactly what this perk does. It doesn't come up right now, but I have the lucky perk, and I think that means
basically you ask the GM to be lucky in one scenario.
See, I am immortal. I have the immortality pork. I'm hungry.
Immortality pork? That was the secret all along. Bacon.
No, that's just ram.
All right.
I have a bag of pork rind.
Now, for clarification, Levi, the lucky perk is once per session, or once per scenario?
I think it's per session.
As far as I know, most perks work once per session.
Okay.
Ooh, let me double check. They might be once per day, quote unquote.
once per game session, in a moment of need, you can call on luck to shine.
Okay.
The GM decides what form this luck takes. For example, an attack that was meant for you might target an ally. That's not lucky. That's just being a dick. You may discover a secret passage to escape from a rolling boulder, or a local law enforcement officer decides to be corrupt and terrible because you happen to have grown up on the same street. Aw, that's just awesome.
All right. So,
It's also my turn.
all right. So you stay in that one spot. You get that going off, and you seem to catch it. Like you said, you catch it and shooting for those vulnerable parts, and it, when its head was still up, you seem to catch it right as it was coming down, and it got it under the neck, and you see it, and it looks at who did it, and growls.
Ash will smile and wink.
All right.
Smile and nod. Smile and nod.
Big arm, big arm.
So, you guys, that's your turn. Now, Lieutenant Dan,
Yeah.
what's happening?
I am going to quickly put the pistol back, drop the tomahawk, and come up with the rifle.
Now, by drop, you mean put away, or drop?
No, the hatchet I'll flat drop.
Okay.
Because that should take less time. And between the pistol and the hatchet, I can always get another hatchet.
Okay. All right.
But swapping over to the rifle, and if I have time to take the focus for the advantage, I will.
You can if you don't move.
Okay, don't move. So that gives me my D20 plus a D10 advantage 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let us see what the dice say. 11 plus 6 would be a
Wait.
7.
Back around to the top of the round again?
Yes.
What happened to my turn?
Oh, we skipped Kane. Oh, Kane.
No, Adelaide
Aw.
did
You
something.
tried to make me go early, and I obeyed the rules and the turn order, and then you skipped over me.
No, you did something, and then we did, what's his face? We did Ross's robot turn.
But
No,
he
you
did
just did the
he did
robot
not a
turn.
thing.
What did he do? I didn't remember doing anything.
Thought you shot at it. Okay,
Nope.
we can retroactively do
No.
your turn. You can have your turn now, retroactively, and then you can also have your turn when it comes up in the round proper. How's about that?
Well, I should hope I have my turn when it comes up in the initiative.
Yeah.
No, you're just holding your action this whole time.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what happens.
Mm. Okay.
And
But
unless
that-
I can use that turn we skipped for me to construct a Faraday cage for my own head.
Probably not, since those have to be grounded.
I am going to I'm going to shoulder that energy weapon I have, that long arm,
Mhm.
and I'm going to. So how do I use a bane? How do I inflict a bane?
What bane do you want to inflict?
Persistent damage.
Alright, so you say, I want to inflict persistent damage.
I want
And roll an attack.
persistent damage, and then I roll an attack.
Yep. You roll any type of attack you can do that, like whether you're using your might or your agility. Either way.
So in this case, you might, if it's agility, you might phrase it, I'm gonna line up my gun and try and pop a vein so it starts bleeding, or something.
Oh, I'm gonna screw around with the settings on the side of this plasma rifle,
Okie dokie.
and my aim is to sort of disrupt the solid state plasma that comes out of the end of the gun into like just a spray.
Okay, so you want to do
Yep.
this with your... am I hearing that you want to do it with your logic then, or what are you doing?
Can I do that with like learning?
Well, maybe as a focus action. If you do nothing else, you can tweak your gun real quick and do something, but it will be a focus action.
All right, I will do that then.
Okay, and you don't get advantage. That's what you get to do.
All right. Well, I rolled that d20 already, so I guess I'll keep that not impressive number. Okay, that's one explosion.
Oh.
Ooh.
Very nearly another one. So 9, 15, 20, 22.
22? And you were targeting guard?
I believe it's guard.
Okay,
I think it only targets toughness if I'm using entropy.
right. Okie dokie. All right, so you kind of do that real quick calibration in your head, and something funny happens with your calculations, and you go, and it gets stuck, like your malfunction on your piece that you got in gets stuck, and so you make your calibrations, but you can tell once you pull that trigger that it's just a little bit off, and it flashes, and it does hit, like the plasma comes out, and it smacks into it, and you can even see that it ripples the flesh when it does, and it stings, and the thing looks at you, and then it looks back and forth between you and Ash. You don't think you did any damage, but you've got its attention is now trying to be divided between you and Ash. Adelaide or Ash?
God damn it! What is Clifford the Big Red Frog made out of?
Sturdier stuff than most.
All right. Okay.
Also, I believe it is green.
Yeah, Clifford the Big Red Frog.
Ash begins to wonder if ghouls they get that red-green color blindness.
Oh yeah, his eyes are great.
Giant walking cataract.
All right. So now, what does Lieutenant Dan do besides drop his other weapon, put up his gun, drop his tomahawk, and then bring up something else?
That is about all I can do.
Well, you have quick draw.
Look, yeah, but I don't have anything else likely to hurt it. So I will look around real quick for...
You could invoke a boon on a friend. You might try to inspire someone so they are better at shooting. You might... A couple options like that.
I don't know that I have anything.
Do you have any presents?
2.
Gotcha. So you wouldn't have access to that yet?
Nope. Blind Sight and Heal are the only boons I have on my sheet.
Okay, and we don't need Heal yet.
Yeah.
Hey, just being reasonable. Planning out.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. It was just another option.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Now, quick question. Do you get any damage die out of what weapon you're using?
No. It can just make certain banes easier.
Okay. Fair enough.
Or give, reduced disadvantage for targeting an area, or stuff like that.
Okay. Well, it sounds like my turn is over.
Okie dokie. All right. It's Sprague's turn again then, as Lieutenant Dan tries to think and put together some plan to affect this creature. Sprague is getting ready to unleash some more boom booms, I am expecting.
Right. So for my first boom, I am going to specifically shoot a bunch of firecrackers to coincide at its ears to invoke the Stunned Bane.
Okay.
I set up the thing to do a dice roller, and Nope, there's a 12.
Okie
I'm
dokie.
going to try to deafen it again, because that probably clearly doesn't work. I'm assuming I shoot them out and they crack a little, but they don't make the
Yeah,
deafening sound I'm looking for.
they were stored a little too close to the armpit, and it's hot here, and it's muggy, and it's the wasteland. You probably haven't showered in a few days. And
So he
that's
didn't
sweat.
stun it, he sickened it. That's what I'm hearing.
So, no, it doesn't seem to work, or distract it from the others, unfortunately.
Alright, so there's attack 1. Let's look at attack 2. This one's a little better. I'm assuming it doesn't do it either. 17.
And this is... Are you targeting its resolve, or its guard, or its toughness?
This is toughness.
Okay, it does not seem to affect it.
Okay. For the third attack, I get a 21.
21. Well, that meets its toughness. You can tell...
So, a bane goes through.
Yeah, you can tell that that one was effective.
Okay. During the target's turn, they are limited to either a single major action, a single move action, or a single minor action. Effects that grant additional actions do not circumvent this unless they grant a free action. Note that a target expending its move action to resist this bane will receive the remainder of their usual actions if the resist roll succeeds.
Okay. And their resist has to beat your roll? Is that correct?
No, a resist is just a flat d20, and if it hits a 10 or higher.
Gotcha. There's some other roll that I was thinking about. There's an alternate rule about resisting things.
Yes, Great Mustache does have some of his own things of that sort.
Great mustache!
It is a great mustache, though. Like, if you haven't, it's
If
it's
you
a good
haven't
one.
seen his mustache, we're just saying. It's great. You should go back and you should look at it. It's in one of our
He's
Around
in
the
one of our
Hearst.
videos. If you want to go back through the video catalog and look for it,
It's in and around the
it's
heart.
there.
Yeah.
Alright, now that it's disoriented with its ears, I'm just gonna keep on trying to cause it ear damage to provoke the demoralized bane.
Okay. So you've done... This was your third attack. You've got one more then, right?
Right. And this is versus resolve.
Okay.
Hey, an 18!
Oh, that beats it by 1.
Awesome. Now it has disadvantage 2. On action rolls, not resist rolls.
Okay. Gotcha. Alright then. So a lot was accomplished. You guys see this absolutely spectacular, I mean, wonderful display of somewhat sweat-drenched firecrackers exploding near the face of this beastie. And you see that it breaks eye contact with both Adelaide. It breaks that eye contact it was splitting between Adelaide and Ash. It just starts to shake its head and rub its ears with its massive paws. So, it has been effective. I'm betting that was probably in character.
Yeah, except probably a bit more smokery, but I don't have that kind of voice, so...
Left harmonica this time.
Alright. Well, it comes around to its turn. It's going to... does it have to resist both Banes or just one?
Let me double check, but I'm assuming that when it takes a move action to resist, that d20 is applied to both. So everything I did could have... I mean, it lost a move action regardless, but... where would that... Banes and Boons, probably? That sounds like a good place on the website to check.
Sounds good. Now, I'm gonna go...
I also looked up how flanking works. I finally found it. Basically, if you feel like they would be distracted enough that it should give advantage, it gives advantage. It's not, like, as clearly codified.
Gotcha. I understand that. So no advantage right now. There's got to be some kind of distraction to do so. But otherwise, we will get advantage. I'm going to go ahead and roll once, because I know I have to resist at least once. It has to beat a 10, right?
10 or higher.
Okay, got a 14 on the dice for 1 resist. I'm going to go ahead and roll a second.
Alright.
Just in... Does it come up?
Okay.
Okay, so if I have to roll a second, it is a fumble.
Alright, I'm trying to find it on the site. Okay.
Alright, while you look it up, we are going to move forward then. We're going to assume that it has to roll 2 resists. The first resist we'll say was for the demoralize, so it is not demoralized, so it doesn't take those problems. But we will say that it is still stunned. In fact, it is stunned enough that it will stay stunned for
The duration in here just says resist ends fail times 3 equals 1 minute.
Okay.
So we'll keep on
So,
that.
resist Banes. You can use a move action to recover from 1 or more Banes afflicting you. This move action cost is a simplified way of expressing any number of different ways you might go about shaking off the wide range of Banes you might be afflicted with. Roll 1d20 with no attribute modifiers. If your roll is 10 or higher, the Bane is removed.
The singular Bane is removed.
Well, but at first it says 1 or more Banes.
Okay.
But I think you could do it that way as well, and it would make enough sense that, like, you have a chance of resisting each one.
We're going to say that because we're going to rule for right now, unless we find a rule we like better. We're going to rule that you have to resist each bay. That way, I don't have to reroll a d20 or anything. And we're going to say since he fumbled, that counts as 2 failures, not just 1. So if he fails again to resist the stun bane, will be stunned for the 1 minute. Okie dokie?
Okay.
Alright. So Beastie Boy is only stunned.
Well, stunned means if he took a move you might move action to resist. If he's still stunned after that move,
Right.
then he has no other actions.
Right. So that's his turn for now. You still hear those feet approaching, those paws approaching. I will say to everybody.
So he's pulled himself together. He's no longer demoralized.
Right. Pulled itself together.
He doesn't feel bad about the fact that his ears are ringing, but his ears are still ringing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now it's Adelaide's turn. I'm sure.
Well, shoot, man, this is bad. Like, we're doing bad. This is not going well for us. This dog is too hard to hurt.
I guess that depends on what you're targeting.
Oh, I can't. Well, I can't affect its resolve.
I don't know.
Or can I?
Or can you?
Or can I? Can I deception it? No, that's stupid. We're already in the fight.
Deceive it into thinking you are already dead.
Look at me. I look like green jerky. I'm already dead.
You done scared me to death, dog. Leave me alone.
I clasp my arms over my chest, and I stick my tongue out, and I fall over backwards.
Oh, that's not a good idea. You're standing pretty close to where the robot is, where Cap is kind of hanging on for dear circuits, so...
Yeah, well, I can hang off him then. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to cover him in plasma goop again.
Okay. Are you targeting guard or toughness?
I cannot target toughness unless I'm using entropy.
Okay.
Which it's not a thing I do. Okay. And one more. That'll be 24.
That is
Guard.
its guard.
Oh my goodness!
So, it succeeds in doing. It doesn't do damage, but we will say that it succeeds at. I'm going to give it disadvantage 1 when it comes back to its next stun resist, because that does meet.
Sorry, I should have specified when I said I wanted to cover it in goop again. I would like to invoke persistent damage again.
Oh, okay. So yes, then you're able to invoke persistent damage this time.
So with a spray of
What's the number on the score?
4, so it's a D6 every round.
Okay.
Does that take effect the round I do it?
At the beginning of the target's turn.
Ah, okay. Then does that damage explode?
It can if you roll a 6. Yes.
Oh my goodness! All right.
Oh, I didn't know bleeding damage could explode. That's interesting.
Every die. Healing dice also can explode. Is it a die? It can explode.
Is it a die? It's got nitroglycerin inside it. There are birds everywhere.
Spraggers. There are 2 wolves inside of you. They are both made of nitroglycerin.
Terrifying.
Which one will win? The one that blows up first.
All right. So, you have successfully invoked that Bane. It will take its damage on its turn. You, Adelaide gets the calculation to come in right this time. It flashes up late, so you recalibrate that plasma gun, and you sight it in, and you smack right into it. And as stunned as it is, it feels that pain, and it wheels its head around and kind of wobbles its head towards you as you see some green blood coming down out of its ears.
I point at Lieutenant Dan. It was him.
It looks at you and seems to consider what you're saying.
Do I roll deception now?
I mean, you could.
Oh yeah, all right.
You haven't moved, and we're flavoring this
That's true.
like you didn't have to do a focus action. It's just flavor.
It's like it's like when you throw the ball, but you don't actually throw the ball.
Yeah, go get the ball. Go get the Dan.
Oh, I don't have the ball. He has the ball.
He's a dog. He's dumb at my work. You don't know that. Woo!
Now this is versus his logic, correct?
Deception? What would that be versus?
Generally, perception.
Perception. Okay,
His perception is also kind of insight-y, sense motive-y.
gotcha. Well, that's better.
Oh, right. I have well-rounded. I get advantage on this.
Yeah. You are a slightly better liar because you're bad at it.
Yeah, word. that was worse than the previous one. So, 19.
He explodes one of his resist dies.
God damn it!
So he got a 7 and a 10 on his 2d10 perception plus 13. So yeah. He well, it.
I hate this dog.
This dog looks at you. It can't hear you. It's deaf right now.
All right, it's deaf.
It can't hear you, and it looks at you, and it sees you pointing, and it remembers what the super mutants used to do. They would take a hunk of. They would take you. We're getting an insight into this dog now. They would take a dud mini nuke, and they would go huh, and then he'd go off to try and get it, and they'd just be laughing, and he'd look back, and there it was in their hand, and he was like, no, and it happened over and over again, and all of a sudden this brings back why he hated the super mutant so much. And you know what you look like? You look like a little super mutant.
I'm less than a little super. I'm like a super baby.
You a baby mutant. That's what you get. So now you are prime target number 1.
God damn it. I gotta put up with this thing. It's gonna bite me. It probably rolls like 1d20 plus 8d8. That's not advantage. It's just that's how high its strength is.
Oh. So that is it.
Fun fact: caps out at 4d8.
Yeah, that's what makes this dog so special.
Yeah, he's got dog.
Got
It's
that.
got dog strength.
Oh, I didn't know we were bringing in a character from New Vegas. God dog.
Dog strength.
All right. So that is Adelaide's turn. Rather successful at making damage, also successful at making himself a target. And it's very clear to everybody right now that the dog has started to snarl at Adelaide.
Well, shit.
Does he roll his
Wait.
damage
On the dog's
on
turn.
the dog's turn?
That's a distraction, though.
Yeah, the persistent damage happens on the dog's turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, the dog is distracted, so everybody else who's hitting it is going to get advantage.
True.
It wants to eat my ass now.
No, I mean that's fair. I can understand that. That's a sufficient distraction. You have successfully sufficiently distracted it through your failure. So,
Kill it.
so it is going to try to myrtleize you. All right. So, now it is. We're back up at the top. It's Ash's turn.
Okay, so if I'm understanding the system correctly, I could, if I don't focus, I could use an agility roll to shoot the thing, and then I could try a mental or social roll after? Is that how that works?
If it would make sense to take course over the span of a move action, that seems reasonable.
Okay, so I have 3 in presence. And the last line of presence is, have luck smile upon you, when I have it highlighted. So I think I would like to try to shoot the thing, and then just roll presence to see what could happen, I guess. If this was Fallout, I probably have like an 8 in agility and then like a 7 in luck.
I know what
So
perk you took. You took the perk, whacked out wasteland or whatever it is. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
that
where
dog
you
is
can-
clearly a Star Wars joke.
You can find the fridge with Indiana Jones in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The D20 doesn't explode, right?
No, it
D20
can
does
explode.
The D20 explodes. My
Oh,
building's
nice.
partially reliant on that.
Okay, so then plus 4 exploding D8s. So this is the attack. Shabam! Oh my god. That's really bad. I rolled a 1, and then I rolled a 1 on the D8. So all told, it comes out to an 8. All
An
told. 4 plus 3 plus 1.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then here's a 1d20 explodes plus. Oh, what do I have on my presence again?
Now you
Kill
on your
off.
attack you have advantage because Adelaide is providing a sufficient distraction.
Does that mean I reroll the same thing again?
No, you roll an extra d8.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Fair enough. Okay.
So it may not be a
was
1.
2. It is much, much worse. Unless I get to roll the d20 twice.
No.
Yeah, so I had 1, 4, 3, 3, and then the extra d8 was a 2. And I guess we're just gonna really hope that I'm gonna get real lucky here right now. My presence adds 1d8. It's gonna be so much worse, Jesus. Alright, here we go. Boom! 2 is 20. I don't know what I'm targeting, but there it is.
Okay, so your presence is a 20 total or it's a 20 on the die?
It's a 18 and then a 2 from the d8. So
Okay.
20 total.
You're using your you miss with the shot, but you're trying to use your presence to assist.
To whatever could happen in the world that is in the party's favor might happen right now. This is one of those scenarios where you're fighting the Yaogwai and then the Deathclaw turns the corner and goes after the Yaogwai.
Ooh.
But not us. And they
That's
both died.
That's interesting. It's an interesting
Oh,
possibility.
oh, good.
Oh,
The Yaogwai would probably get its teeth pushed in by a Deathclaw.
sometimes. Depends on the Yaogwai. Speaking of Yaogwai, you hear barks and snarls and other angry big dog noises from underneath you. And you see that Cap looks down and says, "Oh, it looks like a bear came to the dog fight." And he relays to you that there were two other normal super mutant hounds down there that were coming, and they have encountered a Yaogwai who apparently lives underneath the bridge, and the Yaogwai decided to troll them. So, there we go. You have prevented reinforcements I'll see who wins, but you've prevented reinforcements for now from reaching this big super mutant hound. So
Good enough for me. Ash has no idea what has just happened and is probably just pissed that his gun is jamming. I have to assume on 1-1. Damn. Go again, and that's all.
okay, all right. Now we are on Lieutenant Dan.
Okay, I'm going to try to do persistent damage, so I will take a knee, very carefully sight, and aim for an eye.
Sounds like a focus to me. All right, take that advantage.
So, now do I get advantage 1 or advantage 2, because it's still wanting to chew our ghoul jerky?
You technically advantage stacks, so you can get as many advantages as is allowed.
With
So
the
in this
way
case,
I roll,
advantage 2.
Yeah.
with the way I roll, oh, do I need?
This may be the system that allows Jason to actually get some big rolls. He may break.
Don't give him that encouragement.
Oh.
Break him up.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Total of 20. Oh, and I had a D10 come up 10, so
Okay.
I forget that explodes.
Yes,
Yep.
it does.
So I get 16 from there and 16 from the D20, so that's 32.
Very nice.
All right. So this is.
And
Are
what,
you?
That's with a rifle. Persistent damage.
Yeah. What's your agility?
4.
Okay. Yeah, that's a D6 as well.
So that's very good. So we're looking at Adelaide. That means that you've got a D6 coming, and now Lieutenant Dan would also have a D6 coming. D6. This will go. See, it's starting to turn around for you guys.
Oh, I do want to say one thing first.
Okie dokie.
Try the lawn gnome.
Okie dokie.
I've got to think what that does differently. It just sounded funny.
Bludgeoning and piercing damage from shattering a ceramic object.
Yeah, but that's just a normal attack.
Armor piercing round. The sharp little gnome hat just goes right in there.
So it's like a focus action 1 attack, if I ever really wanna.
All right.
Hey, you said you had a garden gnome in there, so hey, you've been
fair
throwing
point.
other things.
I feel like it's important for us to open up a table of junk items from Fallout universe. It may be perfect for Levi's character.
Fair enough.
Teddy bears, old world currency, ashtrays,
fiber optics, 160-pound dumbbell.
All right. So that means that Lieutenant Dan gets down like he says, and you see him, and it's like Adelaide. You're watching this, and the pieces that you used were from an old Vault Boy, and you're familiar with what Vault Dwellers talk about with VATS and what the Vault Assisted blah 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 blah. And it's almost like your head automatically goes into that as you're watching Dan do this, and the probabilities start to pop up, and you see what he's doing, and the probabilities start to calculate and calculate and calculate, and as they do, you see 50%, 75%, 95%, and those the shot goes through the right eye of the creature and comes out the top of the head, and it just, you can see that eye dangling, and there's blood coming down, and it starts to shake its head. It's still looking at you, but it's you can tell that that's done some damage, some persistent damage.
Zombie Jesus.
It is looking at you a little cross-eyed.
All right. So that is this big, massive mute hound. That is Lieutenant Dan's turn. Now it is Sprague's turn. So Sprague, you saw that.
How far is it from an edge?
It's the interstate was kind of broken down some. So technically, one of its legs is still on the slope. The rest of it's on level with you guys. So
how far would I have to push it to start falling?
To fall down the ramp, you can... looking at the circumstances, there's the guardrail that's there for the interstate itself, so pushing it over into that would probably happen before it fell over the one-way. If you push it back, it may slip down the ramp.
Okay.
So that's...
Because I'm thinking I might just make all of these forced moves, and each success will move it 15 feet.
Okay. You think that if you can move it about 15 feet, you can get it to start sliding down.
Could you repeat that? The internet on my side cut out for a sec.
You think that if
What
you
do
can
you
get
mean someone other than Adam cut out? What?
Yeah.
Impossible. I don't believe it.
So, you think that if you can get if you can get the creature to move about 15
if I can push
feet.
it 15 feet.
Yeah. A single 15-foot move should push it enough to make it have to try to stay steady.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna line myself up for that, and I'm popping off 4 forced moves.
Okie dokie.
Alright. So this is versus guard. The first one. Okay, I'm going to throw the guard gnome prepped up so that way his hat shoots off to push someone back.
Okay.
And I utterly fail with a 9.
Okie dokie. Like, is that a fumble fail or just a fail?
Well, the thing is, like, generally in combat attack rules, you don't super do fumbles, but you can if you want.
Okie dokie.
That's, like, there's a mixture between the narrative of it, how bad you feel it is relative to it, the fact that I failed by over 10 could be seen as a fumble if you wanted it to be.
Okay.
So, like, it's really up to you.
Okay. We'll see how the rest of the rolls come out. And what would be best for the narrative then.
Alright. The next attack that will also utterly fail is a good 15.
Okie dokie.
Then we've got a 7.
Okay.
Ooh, and then a 5.
Okay.
We're just rolling on down.
Okay. Well, those all 4 miss pretty well. So here's what kind of happens with the garden gnome. I mean, you had set it up. You had set it up to where you had the thing under your arm, you had it braced, you had it ready, and all that stuff. And you hear it, and you look down, and its hat pops off like it's supposed to, but it's loaded kind of weird. And so the move that happens is you move back. You're not prone or anything, but you have run yourself like holding onto a little rocket gnome backwards. About we'll only use 3 of them that got into the single digits. So no, only 2 of them got into the single digits, I think. So
30 feet.
30 feet backwards, you go. So you guys, probably the person with the best view is Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan says, "Use the garden gnome," and you're like, "All right." And Sprag throws it off, and he sees them go the wrong way.
Got him! Got him!
That wasn't quite what I expected.
It wasn't what I expected either.
Somebody back at the fort is now very dead. Oh, what a fine, wonderful day in the waste.
No,
A
it's
flying gnome hat impales a dude.
So there's this guy back at the fort, and he is just wheeling his cart of melons to town.
My mute cabbages!
And he goes, and you see him almost to fort, and he goes, and you just see him all black faced, and his hair's all up, and his tatters, even more tattered clothes, and he just goes, "My melons!"
My cabbages. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, my cabbages.
Oh no. So there we go.
No.
All right. That's
I keep moving, and they keep finding me. My poor cat.
all right. Well, that's Sprag's turn. Now,
Yep.
it is the Beastie Boys' turn, and
All right, so you roll a die, Jason, and I roll a die,
D6,
3 from me.
and 3 from me.
so 6 damage total.
So at the beginning of the target's turn, before they take any actions, they suffer damage determined by the power level of the Bane. The damage automatically bypasses the afflicted character's defenses, but it can be reduced by resistance.
Okay.
To a certain type. I believe Jason's is probably bleed, and mine is fire.
Okay. Gotcha.
That'd make sense.
Well, it seems to take both. The burn, the plasma seems to be sticking to and holding into the flesh and kind of burning through and sizzling some of it, and then it's bleeding pretty good out of its eye. So it definitely takes the damage. It's going to the stun is the one that keeps it from doing anything but one action, right? So
Correct.
even if it resists, I'm trying to see if it has any.
So if it resists it, it then would have a main action to use. And minor actions, depending on if those matter for it.
Alright. Here's what it's going to do. It's going to try and resist. It gets a natural 20, so it definitely resists. Oh wait, I don't think it matters if it explodes, though. So it doesn't matter. So
It doesn't matter if it explodes, but it still technically does. It just beats a 10 anyway, so who cares?
yeah.
Because every die explodes.
Every die explodes. If it had gotten a really good number that second time, we might have done something, but no. So it is able to resist, and it's going to raise its head up again, and the howl it lets out this time is one that gets really, it starts to build up in its gut, and it just comes, and I need everybody, well, actually everybody except Spragg, who's like 30 feet away. Well, 30 plus feet away. So it works out for Spragg what happened. So I need...
It was all in the plan!
It's all in the plan. It's fine. So every...
Smooth skin.
Yeah, he's not a ghoul.
Ghoul on the inside.
He's, yeah. That's what happens when it's all that smoke, you know. It ghoulifies you from the inside.
That's what happens when you get lung cancer. You become a ghoul on your insidey bits.
He's
That's
right
not
now,
the only
he's
cancer.
just like me.
So, I need Ash, Adelaide, and Lieutenant Dan to make... no, I don't need to have them make it. I need to beat it. That's what it is. Alright. And this is...
You probably do.
No, I need to beat your resolve, is what I'm going for.
Oh, that's even better.
And he has a D20
I
plus
resolve is my worst.
3d6.
My resolve is at 12.
A D20 plus 3d6. One explodes.
God, Jesus.
I want to write
Both
these
at
down.
once.
And then he's going to reroll his explosion. That explosion explodes.
How you getting so many explosions? I got like one.
And then that's...
It happens!
But thankfully, the D20 did not roll very high. It's still going to be big, though. 8. Okay, 8. So, got 3 plus 4 is 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Raise your hands if you have a higher than 25 resolve, kids.
It's possible. I assume...
Is it possible at this level to have that high of numbers?
I do not think so.
How
How's
high
that?
of a resolve?
15. 25 is the one that we all got, apparently.
So,
Oh, 25. Yeah, you could definitely have that high of a resolve.
You guys
Yeah,
thought
fair
it was
enough.
exaggerated.
You just have to sacrifice a lot of other things.
We just gotta have
Like
negatives and everything
everything.
else. Yeah.
Alright.
24 presents! Look! It's my next OL character. I'm going to do nothing but just roll presents. And what funny things happened today? Haha.
Yeah, well, that doesn't
I'm
always
not
work
playing a
out.
character, I'm playing a GM, a
Alright,
GM conduit.
so...
I'm playing something that distorts the fabric of reality all around me.
So,
Yeah, Jim Conway.
we had... It's a 25. Who does it beat by 10?
Me.
What was the number again? I'm sorry.
25?
25 beats me exactly by 10.
I'm at a 16, so
Okay.
a little better off.
So, for your resistances on it, take 1 failure on your resist. If it has beat you by 10.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm a little lost too.
Oh,
get
the next
3
time you
rolls.
try to resist, you automatically fail.
Mm.
Is that what you mean? I'm not 100% sure.
I wasn't going to make them auto-fail. I was going to have it to where they get 3 chances to resist, right?
Think of it more accurately. Well, wait, what's the Bane?
The Bane is demoralized
Demoralized?
30-foot cone.
More or less?
Well, it's not a 30-foot cone on this creature,
Okay.
but it's demoralized.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. The thing is, if they fail 3 times, it lasts a minute after that with no more resist rolls. So if they fail twice, it'll last a minute, right?
That's what
Is
I'm
what you're saying?
Yes.
Cat.
You still
Sounds
get your
good.
chance. Still get your chance. Okay. And that is a might of that, so this demoralize gives you a disadvantage 3.
Ugh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's special.
That's the thing to roll a resist against. That seems like a good thing to get rid of.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it resisted by?
Yeah, you just roll
You
a
roll
d20
a d20, but you have to take a move action.
to do
No,
so.
it's a minor.
All right.
Oh, right, you're right. Demoralized is a minor action to resist.
What? Okay.
You can
So that's his turn.
you can still only do it once per turn
So that's
because you
its
can't
turn.
take the same minor action more than once.
Now it is Adelaide's turn. You want to try and resist that?
Yeah, I thought he was rolling other dice when he was resisting our stuff.
I had to roll the d20s to resist. And then we were like,
okay.
well, how many d20s do we got to roll? And it's like, well, we're going to say that you resist each bane.
Okay. Does well-rounded give me advantage on this?
No, because it's not applied to a stat.
All right, fine.
It's just a flat d20.
Oh, fuck me sideways. One.
1? Okay. So, what happened with the dog was he lost a chance to resist. So that means that you would also, which means you would have 2 failures on top of the one you already had from the dog. So that would mean this lasts for a minute.
Yeah. All right.
Okie dokie. You did not fully resist, but you can still shoot at it.
I'm gonna unholster the revolver, take a shot with that, because I actually have advantage with that. I don't have advantage 4, so I think I'm still at a negative, but I think that only makes it disadvantage 1.
Okie dokie. That's a lot better.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when all you're seeing is I Love Lucy reruns.
And 2d10s. So I have disadvantage 1, so I roll 2 and take the worst of them, right?
Right.
So I rolled 2 10s.
Oh, well, there
Well,
you go.
you explode.
They still explode, yeah.
They both explode?
No, yeah. They would
Well,
both explode.
you only get one explosion
Okay.
from here
Right.
That's fine.
because you the first roll and take one of them. You don't get to compare their tree of explosions and see what, or like worse in this case.
Okay. So that's 18 and 12, so 30.
30. All right. For someone who had the disadvantage, you see that, and there's starting to be this personal beef between Adelaide and this dog.
I hate this dog.
Stupid dog! You make me look bad.
Dude, I'm getting me mallet.
So this personal enmity starts to well up in Adelaide, and he takes out his revolver and he just aims it, and
I'm trusting now fully in the cranial implant because my hands are shaking because I'm demoralized, and I was like, all right, you got to do this, Ting Tang.
all right, so you tap it like that, and you start to see calculations start to come up, and you got to give it a little tap again, and you see it go, and the VATS thing starts to assist you a little bit, and you go, and you get a good shot in. What was your total again?
30.
30, so that means it takes 6 more damage. All right.
Goodness. For attack specialization.
All right.
Yeah, makes a big difference.
So, this creature, Adelaide's turn has come, and yawn. Now we're back at the top of the round. Ash.
Okay, so I have disadvantage 3.
Yes.
I can use a minor action to try to shake that off.
Yes.
All right, here we go. D20 plus nothing. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a 14.
You beat the 10.
Woo!
You resist the
Nice.
disadvantage 3.
And we're gonna do a shooty. 1 exploding D20 plus 4 exploding D8s. Oh, bam! Nice. Okay, so then that's 19 plus 8. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 30, 34.
34. All right.
How do you just have, you have advantage, right? That's where you're getting those extra d8s from.
Yeah. And then I have attack specialization, which is giving me 2 to start.
Okie doke. It's definitely, you definitely did some damage on it that time. You can tell.
Oh, goody. But does it fall through the floor? This is a system that I get to do this, and so I'm going to do this.
Yeah, roll
What?
that presence. He's been throwing explosives at the underside of this overpass for the last however long.
I have a feeling if I roll bad on these presence rolls, I'm not going to like it. But again, like I've never played an RPG where this is something I could do, so we're doing it.
I think it's either
6 plus 2 is 8.
Good.
I was gonna say it's either the dog goes and we stay, or we all go.
Yeah.
Just the
So-
whole bridge. Dude.
All right. So, you're right. There has been a lot of explosives going around. And you look back at Spragg for a second, and then you see Spragg pointing down at your feet. And you see a crack starting to break and come through. Make an agility test to see if you are able to not plummet to your death. Well, not plummet down to where the other 2 Muthounds are and the Yaogwai that are fighting.
So my death. That's just roll agility and see what happens.
Yes. Well, you roll your 2D whatever you got with agility as well.
Okay. And a D20 also?
Yes.
Okay. 17.
17. You are able to hold on. You will have to. You have caught yourself, and you are in the same position as Cap at the moment.
Lovely.
He looks at you and he says, "Oh, it is good to have company."
Isn't it? Isn't this just the
No,
grandest
no,
day?
come on, Adam. You can do better than that. So nice of you to drop in.
Ah! Dun dun
Kane,
dun.
you make me proud.
Yeah.
I feel
He's
better.
grown so
Welcome.
much in our time together.
Welcome to the dark side. Welcome to the pun side.
I thought it was coming, and then when it didn't, I was strangely disappointed.
Ah, that's how we get you. That's how we get you. All right. So, after he drops in, that is you did the damage, but that little presence thing, yeah.
It didn't pan out so good.
So,
That's what happens when you're just like, how lucky am I?
What
Yep.
random stuff could happen? Whoop!
yep. Hey, every roll matters.
I should start doing that. I got 0 presents, but I get to roll the d20 twice.
I mean, you could. I don't know if that's a good idea, but you could.
Probably not.
All right. So, you're that is Ash's turn. Now, Lieutenant Dan, you have seen all this happen. Ash, you see Ash fall, but he catches himself. So,
Well, first thing I'm going to do is try to shake off the demoralization.
well, okay, yes. You still got demoralized. You just didn't have the added effect.
And I rolled a 10 on the dice.
Nice.
That's
So is
perfect.
that... Okay.
You have a
I will
55%
take
chance.
it. Well, if this thing is still looking distracted, I'm gonna try to shoot it again because we need to get this thing down. So that would be advantage 1.
Yes, unless you have any other
For-
advantages.
Do you have advantage for it still wanting to rip Kane's throat out?
That's the one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I misheard. It's all good.
I can hear my
Okay.
roommate experience nicotine-induced rage upstairs.
Oh, that was outstanding.
Oh.
That would be a 6.
Oh. Is it?
Ooh, that sounds like my rolls. And I have a lot of advantage to get it that bad.
I was gonna say you have the crutch of
Yeah.
advantage 9 to fall back on there.
Yeah, that was the best of the 2d10s added.
Okay.
So I believe that's what's generally called a miss.
Yeah. And we're trying to figure out our miss fumble thing. So we're gonna have, if you miss by 10 or more, probably is what we've seemed to fall into, which that did. We're gonna say, would you like to flavor your fumble, or would you like me to?
Okay. I kind of shake my head, clear the demoralization, put the rifle up, and I don't have it seated properly when I pull the trigger. So not only do I miss, it knocks the snot out of me, and now I'm on my back.
Ugh.
Okie dokie. Fair enough. Kane says, like that, like he might understand.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah. When you're shooting a wood-stocked gun, shotgun with no
Yeah, with the old
rubber pad.
on him.
Ugh.
Yep. You make sure it's tight to your shoulder before you pull the trigger.
Yeah, I did that. That was a 45-70 by accident.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying the sky, and it's next turn.
All right. That means, Sprag, you're 30... Well, now you're like 40 feet away, because you were about 10 feet away to start with. So...
Okay. Luckily, I have long shot and can fire my bombs from 50 feet.
Oh, how kind.
Okay. So, I want to do a similar thing with forced move, but in a weirder way. I would like to roll a bunch of, like I collected spare, used up bits from grenades, reattached them, made my own version, and I want to do forced move, but straight up.
Okay.
So you
I
want
want to roll them under it and have them, like, launch it upwards.
You know,
Yeah,
I
like-
actually
yeah,
did this in Fallout 3. Once upon a time, there was a Deathclaw in a cage, and we put all of the mines we ever had in front of the cage. There's like 30 mines, and then we let it out of the cage into 30 mines. We never found the body, but it did go straight up.
We never found the body, as if there was one to find. After
No
that.
bones, no blood, just...
All right.
Hit by a giant Skyrim. You just rocket into the skybox.
Join the Skyrim space program.
All right. Let's see that roll.
Okay. So, I've got my 4 rolls out, because it's just way faster to already know what they are.
Okay.
21, 9, 21, 3.
Okay, so this is against its toughness or against its guard?
I think forced move is, generally speaking, against guard.
Okay.
None of those hit, man.
All right. So, let me see.
Yeah, they're all against guard.
Okay. I don't really want to invoke something really bad against you guys for that, but that's a lot of explosives. All right.
Hey, it's rolled over on his part of the bridge, so...
Yeah, but I mean the road's only so wide. Okay, so you roll that forward. You roll that, and you can tell that some of the bombs don't go off right. They don't seem to pop right. And as you're rolling it, you know you've got proper charge in there, but it's like they go... and it makes like this smoke trail as it rolls underneath, and it stops underneath it, and it just kind of smokes there, dousing it in a whole bunch of smoke. Not enough to affect its vision or anything, but you think that if you think you could still pull off your plan, but it's got to have a large it's got to have a bigger boom to set off the rest of those grenades, which are sitting underneath it. So you did not... If you can set them off next turn somehow, you think your plan will still work. Or,
Okay.
or if you get someone else to set them off, you think your plan will work.
That's fair. So, on that note, I do have craft mundane items one, so there's a decent chance I have a couple more conventional grenades on my person.
Okay. That is also
Now, to
based
other
upon
people.
based upon your other character, based upon your character's personality. That is well within our understanding of him.
So, someone could aim one of these grenades under him. I think we might get it.
You announce that to the party.
Yes, and I do refer to it as a normie nade, because it's not one of my special things, it's just something I do on the side that other people can use.
This is the normal one. This is the bundle of grenades that I just roll under people for fun. This is the normal one.
Hey, I am an enthusiast, I am making explosive art, and this is just something you do, okay?
His art exhibits...
Did you see me fly with a garden gnome? If that's not an art installment into this world, I don't know.
I'm just waiting for him to whip out one of them lines of Christmas lights and just lasso a dude and light it up like a big old string of dead cord.
We'll
I'm just hoping to roll well enough that I can describe it like that.
Just screaming, decapitation! As a head.
Alright. So, you get it under there. You've set up for perhaps other people, or someone else too, or you next turn to blow him sky high. But now it's the Hound's turn. And
Did it resist all that persistent damage?
no, you guys got to roll. I got to roll that persistent resist. Got to roll for each. So the first one is for Adelaide. He does not. He gets a 4. The second one is for the bleed damage, and he only gets an 8. So he takes both of y'all's damage.
He would have taken it anyways. He would have rolled the resistance to not take it in the next round.
Gotcha. So let's go ahead and see it.
Yep. Yep, that's 3.
2.
3 and a 2. 5 total. Alright, this thing's looking really bad. It's definitely on its last legs, and it's considering you see it looking around. It's technically still stunned, so it can only do one thing. So it's gonna look at you. It's gonna...
Sorry, I have a question. Is it possible to roll presence when it's not your turn?
Yeah.
That's probably more of a if the GM wants you to.
That
The
depends.
GM is out of inspiration. That's the Tommy equivalent of roll percentage dice.
Well,
My
What do you-
question is if I could roll presence,
mhm.
and if I got real good, it would step on the mine.
That's basically what I'm planning on doing when it comes around to me. It's just focus presence. Don't look down.
You can make me a roll. It'll take up your choice to do minor actions on your next turn.
That's fine.
I would like to do the same, question mark?
Well, let's see what his roll is and see if he needs help.
Oh, I'm real glad I got advantage on that. That's a lot better than a 4. 14.
Okay, anybody else want to help?
And so was, I gotta find, goddamn. 2 plus 3, not good for me. Oh no.
Alright, well, I might
The
as well...
belt that is holding me to the rebar rips, and down I go.
We're gonna see how lucky Sprag is today.
Okie dokie.
Because this one has a small enough number of dice so I can roll it physically.
Next open legend character, I'm just dumping everything but presents, so this can actually play out.
Well, you can only get so high at the start.
Well, you can
25.
You can do that in the really old Fallout games too, can't you? You just nuke everything and boost luck, and the game just gets goofy.
Yeah, that's literally what this is.
So, you got a 25, Levi?
I did. I rolled... I rolled an 11 on the D20, and then an 8 and a 6 on the D8.
Alright. Jason, do you want to have Lieutenant Dan assist to try and herd this creature onto the mine, or...?
No, because I plan on shooting it.
Okay.
The mine.
Yeah, it'll only take your minor actions, though. It won't take your main.
Yeah, you would still get your chance to do that on your turn, even if you try to help.
Why not? Well, I can think of millions of reasons why not. It's me.
It's
Sorry, I got
Sorry.
excited. I should have just let you shoot the mine.
All right. Well, there's a chance explosion. Okay, that would be a 24.
Alright. It seems like,
Yeah.
Thanks to the exploding D6.
in spite of Ash's luck, you guys hear Sprag say that, and then everybody goes, whoa, to try and, shoo it onto it, and it stumbles back for a second with its eye, and it doesn't see with that eye where its foot comes down. And it's like you all hear a click, click, and the firing pit, Sprag knows, that's the pin. And it goes, and you all kind of look down at the same time as the hound, and it looks back up at y'all, and all you see is and end over end, this thing flies up, and you see, like 2 or 3 football fields away,
I can't believe that worked.
Of course I knew it was going to work.
I thought you said that gnome would take care of anything.
That was the craziest, stupidest thing I've ever seen. And I would very much like to do it again.
Okay, has Ash actually fallen, or is he just holding on by his fingernails?
He got pretty close with that presence attempt.
He did.
So thankfully you are all working together. So he's still hanging there, and so is Cap.
All right, let's take him up.
I'll help Ash up.
Before
Hands up.
Before I help up the robot, sorry, if you guys have a thing that you finish that. Sorry.
Ash stands up, dusts himself off, holsters his pistol, smiles, nods. Perfect. Just another day.
You have a very funny idea what perfect is.
Nods.
I turn without waiting for a reaction to find my tomahawk. And, well, since that's ready, let's get the rest of the way there.
All right. Before I or anyone else goes for the robot, I want to go talk to Sprag real quick.
Okay.
You have craft mundane item.
I do.
And I reckon it'll look less suspicious if I'm not the one doing it. I was figuring if I could get you some wire, you could make a basket out of it. You could weave, right?
Yeah.
Well, I just figured after we saw that impressive display of explosionary, we could maybe load that up with a couple of different things, turn it into a big sort of fragmentation ball. But if I can get a hold of the wire for you, could you do me a favor, make it a real tight weave, and when you're done with it, could you let me inspect it before you go stuffing explosives in it?
Sure.
I need a hole on one end of it about like yay big, and he kind of like measures the top of his own head.
Is this a suicide bomb?
No. I just got
I was a little confused as well.
something I learned before the war is all. There's a pre-war techniques.
Interesting. Well, I'll certainly give it a shot. Tightly woven fits on top of your head.
Yeah. And we'll go help up the robot, and I'm going to use my scavenger perk to dig through some old cars or some bike tires or something and get me a bunch of wire.
Okay, that's easy enough to keep a lookout for. All right.
What's happened with the party down below the underpass?
Let's see. Each of you.
Let's all roll presents.
Can I just roll intimidate with energy by dropping bombs on them?
Well, let's see what happened first, so we know who you have to intimidate. Tommy, Kane,
Tommy.
and Jason, roll me a
Yes,
d20 each.
Just a flat D20.
Yep.
No, boo, because mine exploded, but also wasn't 20.
19.
All right. If it exploded,
Good
Tommy, go ahead and
sweet.
roll it again.
Oh, I got an 11, 31.
31. Okay. So, it looks like the Yaogwai killed one of the beasties, but the combination of the two was able to. Tommy's dog was able to beat out the Yaogwai in the end. So there's a super mutant hound down there still, but it's looked up at you, and it's looked over at where its leader, you guess, pack leader, went, because it doesn't smell it there. So it's starting to smell around, and it's starting to smell around towards the ramp. So if you want to roll presence with your explosives to kind of shoo it away, you could.
Or
Can I just roll energy to spook it?
Or can I roll persuasion because you called it Tommy's dog, and I kind of want to run with that?
All right, whoever gets the bigger, make your rolls.
All right.
Good boy.
So,
I got a 7.
so you're like, oh, good boy. And I'm pulling out.
No.
I've got like a thermos that I'm filling with like nitroglycerin. Then I'm just gonna drop and see what happens.
Okay, so
already named you.
25.
Oh.
all right. So as Ash actually gets this weird wild hair to actually go down there and trying to tame the mute hound, and you guys are like, "What do you do? What? Stop!" And he's just like, "Oh wait, look, it's Jaws. Look!" And you guys can tell that mute hound is looking at him now, and it's like, "Oh, that's dinner." And so you guys are all about no, and he's like, "Yes," and then Sprag is just like, "No, and throws down the nitro thermos, and it goes, and it runs off.
Off
Now
he
I-
goes to the big. Where do Mutowns like to play? The big flesh bag pile in the sky.
Real quick, is there any... It would not shock me if the new marshals had a bounty on Mutowns and similar things.
Oh,
So
when you guys get
is
back,
there...
when people hear about what you did with the Hound, yeah.
I was just looking for evidence of that.
That's
I mean, you could
Leftover
go.
eyeball?
The leftover eyeball? Sure.
Yeah,
The eyeball fell out as
I'll
it
take
flew
it.
up into the. It just jerked up with so much force that it ripped the connective nerve away,
yeah.
and it just.
Yeah.
So you've got a big. It's like, how big would that be on that
Yeah.
creature? It'd be like this big around. This big old eyeball for this thing.
Ugh.
Hey, it works.
yeah. I'll pick it up. Look at it. Huh. You eyeballing me? And drop it in a bag.
Cap goes, ha, 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 ha.
I wish you had fallen off that bridge.
So do I. And with that little laugh,
Eh,
we can say, there we go. Seems like a narrative beat to stop on to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okie dokie. Well, that means they made it through. They beat the Hound. So we'll have to see what comes up next to challenge these wastelanders on their wanderings through this wide open space to make their legend. But for now,
Join us.
Yep.
Join us next time as the characters become a mobile buffet.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, now we got a mute hound eye. That's a delicate.
yeah, there you go. See, and now I wish we had recorded some kind of. Tune in next time to see the weird and wild adventures in the wasteland with our heroes.
Trouble
Until
for putting Dragon Ball Z music over the back of it.
oh well,
Because we have been this whole time.
Yeah. Hey, I'll put some. I may try and put some of the battle music over. Just takes so long. to
Big
make.
on, big on.
All right. Have a great day
Really sucks.
God
He's got a
bless.
big on him.
and enjoy. Bye.
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 This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.